understanding and cherishing life. Monks, listen to my teaching. Though life may appear long, in truth, it is but a fleeting moment in the cycle of birth and death. Each passing moment never returns, like the dew on a blade of grass that glistens in the morning sun but vanishes as the day brightens. Therefore, you must cherish the present moment and not let your mind be squandered on meaningless pursuits. Monks, life is as brief as a flash of lightning in a storm, yet it is precisely this brevity that makes each moment precious. I teach you that to live fully, you must let go of illusions and suffering. When your mind is free from attachment, you will see clearly that each breath, each step, is a miracle. Look at the plants around you. They do not worry about tomorrow nor cling to yesterday. They simply live fully in the present, soaking in the light, the rain, and the nourishment of the earth. Monks, learn from nature. Live simply and peacefully so that each moment becomes a valuable lesson. There are those, my children, who tirelessly chase after fame and wealth, only to realize too late that all these things are but illusions. They sacrifice their health and the joy of the present for a future that may never come. I tell you, those who understand impermanence will no longer be bound by such pursuits. Ask yourselves, if today were my last day, how would I live? If you live as though today is your last, you will cherish every ray of sunlight, every smile, and every sincere word. Monks, do not let your mind be drawn outward, chasing fleeting desires. Turn inward and illuminate your mind, keeping it pure and serene. When you live mindfully, life becomes clear. Whether it's a bird soaring across the sky or a drop of water falling from a lotus leaf, everything carries within it a lesson. Life itself is the Dharma, a field for learning and practice. Like the moon reflected on water, life is a mirror of the mind. If the mind is at peace, all circumstances will become tranquil. Monks, remember that life is not measured by the years we live, but by how we live each moment. Therefore, do not let the brevity of life be a source of fear. Let it inspire you to live deeply, mindfully, and fully. Engrave my words in your heart. Monks, live without regret, without unnecessary craving, guided by mindfulness and gratitude for each breath, self-awareness and loving oneself. Monks, listen to my words, for this is a vital teaching about understanding and loving oneself. On the path of practice, before you can extend compassion to all beings, you must first cherish and care for your own being. Just as a boat must be sturdy and free from cracks to ferry others across the river, so too must your mind be strong and clear, or you will be swept away by the currents of life's suffering. Monks, each of you is born with unique karmic ties and latent potential. Regardless of your origins, you carry within you the seed of enlightenment. Ask yourselves, have I recognized the goodness within me? If you continually chase external standards and compare yourselves to others, you will fall into a vortex of suffering and lose your way. Turn inward, look into your own heart, and recognize that your uniqueness is a precious gift bestowed by the universe. Children, loving yourself does not mean indulging in lowly desires or clinging to worldly pleasures. To love oneself is to accept both your flaws and your admirable qualities. Like a blacksmith using fire to forge metal, you must use wisdom to temper your mind, transforming weaknesses into strengths, and thereby radiating compassion. I tell you, no one in this world is perfect. If you feel inadequate, it is merely an illusion created by a clouded mind. You do not need to become someone else, for true worth lies in knowing who you are and which path you walk. Every virtue, every habit, whether good or bad, is a valuable lesson for your growth. Monks, cherish each breath, each thought, and each action. Smile at your small mistakes, for they are opportunities to learn and improve. Rejoice in your moments of naive simplicity, for they mark the beginning of wisdom. Do not be ashamed of your imperfections, for accepting them will guide you toward liberation. I teach you that those who love themselves will not let their minds waver with the winds of praise or blame. Like a steadfast mountain unmoved by the wind, the mind of one who knows their own value will not be swayed by fleeting judgments. Remember, you do not need validation from anyone else, for you are already a shining gem. needing only the polishing of mindfulness to reveal your brilliance. Learn to sit with yourself in silence, reflecting deeply to uncover the beauty within. When you truly understand yourself, you will love yourself sincerely, and from that love, extend your compassion to all beings. A peaceful mind leads to a peaceful body. This is the path to liberation, kindness, and actions toward others. Monks, this is a lesson on compassion and kindness in conduct. I teach you that a heart full of compassion neither calculates nor expects reciprocation. Kindness is like the morning sunlight. It does not discriminate between rich or poor, nor does it shine on only a chosen few. It illuminates all. Monks, when you treat others kindly, even if they do not respond in kind, it does not render your kindness meaningless. Remember, a seed of goodness, once planted, will never be lost. It will sprout one day, perhaps not in this life, but in another. When you perform a good deed, its merit is stored within your heart, like a fresh stream that flows endlessly. There are those, my children, who are shrouded in ignorance and anger, unable to recognize the light of kindness. They may reject the goodness you offer, but you must not allow this to extinguish your compassionate heart. Like an oil lamp that continues to shine despite the wind, you must maintain unwavering compassion even in the face of adversity. Let me share a story with you. Long ago, a farmer shared a portion of his rice daily with his impoverished neighbors. One day, someone asked him, "Why do you give so much when they never give anything in return?" The farmer smiled and replied, "I give not to receive, but because it brings peace to my heart." Monks, that is true kindness, given without expectation, without calculation. Understand that kindness not only helps others, but also nourishes your own mind. Each time you assist someone, a seed of goodness is sown within your consciousness, making your heart purer and lighter. Good deeds are not performed for praise, but to cultivate wisdom and compassion. Monks, observe the rivers. They carry water to all lands, whether barren or fertile, without seeking gratitude. You, too, should be kind naturally, without distinction between loved ones and strangers, without attachment to the outcome. When you act with a selfless heart, your kindness becomes a light guiding your path. If you encounter rejection or misunderstanding, reflect thus: perhaps this person is not yet ready to receive goodness. But do not let that stop you. Persevere. Like water carving through stone, compassion can eventually soften even the hardest of hearts. Monks, remember this: true strength is not found in those who triumph in conflict, but in those who maintain compassion. Even in adversity, compassion is an eternal flame, warming both others and yourselves. On letting go to attain peace. Monks, this is a lesson on the art of letting go. In life, there are things beyond your control, like a river that cannot flow backward. When you stubbornly cling to the impossible, you invite only suffering and exhaustion. Letting go is not a sign of failure or avoidance. It is the path to true tranquility. I teach you that life is inherently impermanent. All phenomena are in constant motion, like the moon, now full, now waning, like a flower that blooms in the morning and withers by nightfall. By accepting this impermanence, you will no longer be tormented by loss or change. Remember, when one door closes, another may be waiting to open. Children, there will be people who hurt you in events that do not go your way. But ask yourselves, does holding on to resentment and pain lighten your heart? I say it does not. Resentment is like a smoldering fire that burns only the one who holds it. Forgiveness, on the other hand, extinguishes that fire and brings peace to your soul. Imagine holding a heavy stone. If you clutch it tightly, your hands will ache and tire. Yet, the moment you release it, you feel immediate relief. The mind works the same way. When you let go of attachments, pain and sorrow dissipate, leaving behind a stillness, like a calm lake after the rain. Monks, do not view letting go as a loss. See it as liberation. A mountain climber cannot carry all their possessions. They take only what is essential. On your spiritual journey, you must also learn to release unnecessary burdens to move forward with ease. Let me tell you a story. Long ago, two monks were crossing a stream. They met a woman who needed help. One monk carried her across and then continued on his way. The other monk, troubled, said, "We are monks. Why did you do that?" The first monk replied, "I set her down on the other side long ago. Why are you still carrying her?" Monks, understand that peace of mind can only be achieved by letting go of what no longer serves you. Forgiveness, my children, is not for others, but for yourselves. When you forgive, you free yourself from the chains of resentment, allowing your heart to become as vast as the sky, where no cloud can linger forever. Forgiveness is the key to releasing your mind from the shackles of the past, enabling you to live peacefully in the present. Engrave my words in your heart. Letting go does not mean abandoning responsibility, but accepting what is past, so that your mind may remain free and clear on the path of practice. The Buddhist teachings through inspirational stories. Monks, along the path of practice, simple yet profoundly meaningful stories can open your mind and help you deeply understand the teachings. Listen carefully, for each story holds a precious lesson on the journey to enlightenment. The lesson from the 92-year-old woman. Once, I recounted the story of a 92-year-old woman, petite but always neatly dressed each morning. Despite her failing eyesight, she smiled brightly upon hearing that her room at the care home was ready. When asked why she always seemed so cheerful, she replied, "I chose to be happy before I even stepped into that room. Happiness is not determined by external circumstances, but by my own decision." Monks, through this story, I want you to understand that happiness does not depend on circumstances, but on how you respond to them. A tranquil heart and a positive attitude are the keys to overcoming all adversities. The Master and the Disciple by the Lake. Long ago, a Zen master and his disciple walked by a lake. The master said, "Fetch me some water." The disciple returned to find the water muddy and undrinkable. He said, "Master, the water is too dirty to drink." The master smiled and told him to wait. A while later, the disciple went back and found the water crystal clear. He brought it to the master, who said, "See, the water became clear because the mud settled. Your mind is the same. When disturbed by anger or worry, let it settle, and it will become as clear as this lake." Monks, this story teaches you that in every situation, maintain a calm mind. Do not stir up your inner turmoil further. A serene mind is the source of wisdom and peace. The Buddha's lesson on suffering. Once, while traveling with my disciples, I met a farmer lamenting his failed crops, family conflicts, and the suffering in his life. He asked me, "How can I escape suffering?" I replied, "A person holding a handful of salt will find it too much in a small cup of water, but in a vast lake, the salt dissolves and is imperceptible. Similarly, if your heart is vast, suffering will no longer overwhelm you." Monks, suffering is an inevitable part of life, but how you face it determines your inner state. Open your heart, and do not let minor sorrows overshadow your inner peace. The story of the hidden gems in clay. I once told a tale of a man who found a bag of hard clay lumps while walking along a beach. He tossed each lump into the sea until he discovered that inside each was a precious gem. He regretted wasting so many. Monks, every person has a hidden gem within, concealed by the clay of ignorance and craving. Do not judge others by their outward appearance. Be patient. Compassion will help you uncover the true worth in those around you. Monks, each story I tell carries profound meaning, guiding you to a deeper understanding of the Dharma. Reflect on these lessons in your actions and thoughts. Faith and gratitude for what exists. Monks, in this life, gratitude is a vital practice, for it forms the foundation of true happiness. I teach you that if you constantly focus on what you lack, you will never experience the fullness of the present moment. Like a thirsty person who fails to notice the refreshing stream nearby, you may tirelessly search afar, unaware that the most precious gifts are already within your reach. Children, look up at the sky, admire the morning light, and listen to the birds' songs. Every small detail in life is a gift. If you pause and appreciate them, you will realize that the world around you is already abundant with peace and joy. Gratitude not only lightens your heart, but also opens the door to enlightenment. Let me share a story with you. There was once a traveler who, after years of wandering, became weary and disheartened because he had not achieved what he desired. One day, he sat by the roadside, lamenting how life had been unfair and had not given him what he deserved. At that moment, a wise sage passed by, stopped, and asked him, "Do you still have your legs to walk, your eyes to see, and your heart to feel?" The traveler was startled and realized that although he did not have everything he wanted, he already possessed all that was necessary for life. Monks, remember that gratitude is not merely about acknowledging grand things, but also about recognizing the value of the small. Be grateful for each grain of rice that nourishes your body, each sip of water that quenches your thirst, and each gentle breeze that soothes your soul. When you give thanks for what is present, your mind will naturally find joy, free from the chains of craving and anger. Gratitude, my children, is also a way to cultivate faith in the interdependence of all things. Trust that everything in life has its purpose, whether it brings happiness or sorrow. If you face challenges, be grateful for the lessons they bring. If you encounter good fortune, be grateful and remain humble. Just as a seed requires both rain and sunlight to grow, your heart needs both trials and ease to mature. Monks, happiness is not something distant but lies in appreciating what you already have. When you practice gratitude, you will see that even the smallest things hold immense peace and joy. Cultivate gratitude every day, and you will come to realize that true wealth resides in the richness of your own heart. The true worth within each person. Monks, every person is born with a precious gem within, hidden beneath layers of craving, anger, and ignorance. Sadly, many fail to recognize their true worth, lost in illusions, comparisons, and fleeting desires. I tell you that only through introspection will you uncover this priceless treasure within yourself. Look at the hardened clumps of clay along the road. On the surface, they seem ordinary, unworthy of notice. Yet, if you patiently break them open, inside you may find radiant, glimmering gems. Likewise, every person is a hidden jewel, waiting to be polished by wisdom and compassion to reveal their brilliant light. Monks, do not rush to judge anyone by their appearance. A person who seems simple and quiet may harbor profound wisdom and boundless compassion. Like a mighty tree standing silently in the forest, it provides shelter for countless birds. If you only focus on external appearances, you will miss the opportunity to behold the true beauty of a soul. Let me share a story with you. Once, a jeweler found a rough, unattractive stone. He was about to discard it, but decided to polish it carefully. To his astonishment, he revealed a rare and dazzling gem. Monks, never underestimate yourself or others. Each person carries limitless potential within, waiting to be awakened by mindfulness and patience. True worth, monks, does not lie in the praises of others, but in how you live and contribute to life. Someone who performs good deeds without seeking recognition accumulates merit that shines within their heart. Remember, the value of a person cannot be measured by wealth, fame, or status. It is reflected in their compassion, understanding, and the virtuous deeds they bring to the world. When you encounter others, no matter their appearance or circumstances, look at them with eyes of compassion and wisdom. Reflect that they, too, carry a treasure within, even if they have yet to realize it. Like a flower that has not yet bloomed, they need time and light to open and share their fragrance. Help them see their true worth by sowing seeds of kindness and sharing the light of the Dharma. And do not forget, monks, that you yourselves are gems. Never belittle or doubt your own potential. Polish yourselves daily, removing the dust of greed, hatred, and ignorance, so that the light of compassion and wisdom may shine through. When you discover your true worth, you will realize that life is a precious gift, and each of you has a unique role in making the world a more beautiful place. Living positively and maintaining an optimistic mindset. Monks, life is like a river, sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent. If you focus only on the rough waves, you will forget the purity of the water beneath. Thus, I teach you to maintain an optimistic mind, not allowing negativity to dim the light within your heart. like the sky occasionally shrouded by dark clouds. Remember that the sun always remains behind them. You must understand that difficulties and suffering are only temporary. Hold on to the belief that after the rain, the sky will clear again. Optimism does not deny reality. It is the ability to see light even in the darkest moments. Let me share a story. There was once a farmer who, despite poor harvests, never complained. Instead, he would say, "Next season, I will plant better crops." His unwavering optimism carried him through every hardship, leading him to a bountiful harvest in the end. Monks, living positively does not mean avoiding difficulties, but facing them with a calm heart and faith that all will be well. Monks, negativity is an unavoidable part of life. However, if you let it control your mind, you will lose peace and tranquility. Remember, negative thoughts are like darkness in a room. By lighting the lamp of faith and wisdom, the darkness will naturally fade away. Reflect that even wildflowers by the roadside persist in growing, despite being battered by the wind or covered by stones. Likewise, humans must strive toward the light, no matter the circumstances. An optimistic spirit will help you overcome challenges, turning difficulties into lessons and discovering opportunities within adversity. Monks, keep your mind steady and do not dwell excessively on unfavorable events. When your mind is not entangled in negativity, you will realize that everything happens for a reason and at its appropriate time. Optimism not only brings peace to the soul, but also provides the motivation to advance on the path to enlightenment. Like a stream flowing through rocky crevices, no matter the obstacles, the water finds a way to continue its journey. Learn from the stream. Be persistent and optimistic, no matter how rough the path. Optimism is the light that guides you, helping you stay steady and never lose your way. Remember, my children, when you maintain a positive mindset, you not only cultivate peace within yourself, but also sow seeds of joy and hope for those around you. Challenges as lessons for growth. Monks, life is a vast school, and every challenge you encounter is a lesson meant to help you grow. I teach you that suffering is not your enemy but your teacher. If you reflect deeply, you will find that every adversity carries within it the seeds of enlightenment. Like bamboo bending in a fierce storm, it does not break because it yields to the wind. Likewise, if you meet difficulties with flexibility and humility, you will pass through them without falling. Understand that no path is entirely smooth. Each step is an opportunity to cultivate patience and equanimity. Let me share a story. A potter molds a clay vessel, but it must endure the fire to become strong and durable. Without the fire's test, the vessel would easily crack. Similarly, your soul must face challenges to refine wisdom and develop compassion. Children, do not fear adversity. Look at the towering mountain. Despite relentless storms, it stands firm and unshaken. Your mind, when tempered by hardship, can become as steadfast as that mountain. Difficulties act as mirrors, reflecting your weaknesses and guiding you to improve. Monks, human imperfection is natural. No one is born flawless. Yet it is within these imperfections that fertile ground lies for sowing the seeds of practice and awakening. Do not be ashamed or afraid of your shortcomings. Instead, use them as a foundation for building a stronger spirit. I remind you, overcoming difficulties is not merely about seeking temporary peace, but about sharpening your mind and letting go of illusions and attachments. When you embrace adversity as an inherent part of life, it will no longer feel burdensome. Instead, you will see the light of wisdom shining through the cracks of suffering. Learn to reflect that everything arises from conditions. Challenges do not come to harm you. They come to help you grow. When faced with hardship, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Such a mindset will turn adversity into opportunity and transform suffering into a valuable lesson. Remember, my children, no diamond is formed without enduring great pressure. Similarly, let challenges refine your mind so that each step on your spiritual journey brings you closer to liberation and peace. Monks, always remember that life, whether long or short, is a journey for learning and growth. Difficulties, challenges, and suffering are merely stepping stones that bring you closer to enlightenment. View all things with equanimity. Let go of attachments, and love yourself and all beings with boundless compassion. Like the light of a lamp that darkness cannot extinguish, your serene mind and wisdom are unshakable. When you live fully in each moment, feel gratitude for what exists, and continuously uncover the true worth within yourself and others, you will walk steadily on the middle path. Be diligent, practice ceaselessly, and spread the light of compassion everywhere. For as you illuminate your own heart, you also brighten the entire world. Remember, the path to enlightenment lies right beneath your feet. You only need to walk it with faith, wisdom, and love. Monks, engrave my teachings in your hearts and practice without rest, so that each passing day becomes meaningful, drawing you ever closer to the shore of liberation.